Investment advisory services offered through Alpha Star Capital Management, LLC, a SEC-registered investment advisor. Alpha Star Capital Management, LLC, and SWAN-Capital are independent entities.
What your money would say. Andrew McNair. Money Talks. Are you listening? Money Talks. Are you listening? Money Talks. Are you listening? What your money would say with Andrew McNair.
We're live here on What Your Money Would Say. I'm your host, Andrew McNair, and for the next 30 minutes every Saturday from 12:30 to 1 o'clock here on WCOA 1370, I will be your retirement resource. My goal and my passion is to pull back the curtain on retirement and estate planning for you. And what we're going to do today is talk about something that is such a good time to talk about. Since it's July 4th weekend, it's a time to reflect on not only our independence, but our military, our active, and our veterans. Because we want to make sure that we honor them, because their sacrifice came at a cost. And we're going to talk about some veterans benefits that many families are completely unaware of. But remember, this show is live, so don't forget you can call in. The lines are open at 850-478-3116. That's 850-478-3116. And if you have any retirement and estate planning questions, we'll take them over the air. I want to share with you some upcoming events we have here at SWAN-Capital. We have a Social Security benefits class at UWF July 9th and July 11th. I believe the tuition is about $35, so get signed up. As we kind of peel back the onion on Social Security benefits, we're going to talk about how to maximize your benefits, when to take Social Security, and as well as the birth and design of Social Security and how it works and is it going to be there. We're going to talk about some very important questions. If you would like some more information about that Social Security benefits class, check us out at swan-capital.com. That's swan-capital.com. And you go to the upcoming events tab, and it'll give you all the information on our upcoming events. And while you're there, sign up for our weekly newsletter and follow us on Twitter and like our Facebook page. Okay, let's jump into our theme of today's show, which is veterans benefits. And we're going to talk about my nonprofit organization, the Veteran Benefit Project. And it's, again, a perfect time. Since July 4th weekend, we need to reflect on the independence of our country and making sure that our veterans retire with dignity. And that's why I started the Veteran Benefit Project. It's because of people like my grandfather, who served through World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. Him and his fellow veterans never thought twice about serving their country. It was a great honor, and it's a great honor today. But we want to make sure that our veterans retire with dignity. We don't want them to worry about going into an assisted living or going into a nursing home and running out of money. I think that's a tragedy. And many of you have parents or come into the age of looking at assisted living and nursing home. And once you look at the costs, you think it's overwhelming. And even if you have a nest egg, you can see how fast you can go through a nest egg in an assisted living or a nursing home. And I believe that every veteran should retire with dignity. So the benefit I'm going to talk about helps families do that. But a little bit more about my nonprofit organization. Goal is to locate all veterans, their widows, and their families, wherever we may find them. And we inform them about the availability and qualifications for veteran aid and attendance. And then we assist them however legally possible through the application process in qualifying them. And we partner with healthcare professionals like assisted livings and home healthcare agencies to get the word out. Because without them, it would be very hard to reach these families. And so if you have a family member that's at an assisted living, I typically do workshops there quarterly or biannually, so you might see me out there very soon. Now, another reasons why I do it, not only because of my grandfather and because I come from a long line of military veterans, but because Galatians 6:10, which says, while we have opportunity, let's do good to all people. Because if we have information like I'm going to share with you today, we shouldn't keep it a secret. We need to share it with families because there's a lot of families out there that could really use these benefits. Okay. You may see the VA pledge out at VA hospitals and other VA organizations. And they really hit the point of these benefits. And that is, Abraham Lincoln once said, to care for him who shall have borne the battle for his widow and for his orphan. And what he was trying to get across is that it's not necessarily, about, it's about protecting the families, not only the veteran too, but his families, because we understand that not only is the veteran sacrificing their time and their safety, so are the families. And General Omar Bradley wrapped up when he said, we're dealing with veterans, not procedures, with their problems, not ours. So it shouldn't be about the VA red tape. It should be about getting these benefits in the hands of the people that it's entitled to. Now, the benefit I'm going to talk about today is called the Non-Service Connected Disability Improved Pension Benefit with Aid in Attendance. Say that 3 times fast, right? It's a long one. I like to go with VA Aid in Attendance. Now, if you're listening out there, you say, Andrew, I've never even heard about that benefit. And why is that? And I believe there's a few reasons. And I don't believe it's just some secret that we're trying to keep top secret to keep it out of the hands of veterans. It's just because you finally reach this point in your life. You may have a family member that's going to assisted living or going to a nursing home, and they get a brochure from my nonprofit. It may be because you're yourself looking at assisted living, and you finally find out about these benefits. Another reason is the VA does not advertise. They're not in the advertisement business. They're in the claims business. So when it comes to marketing benefits, that's not their expertise. It's all about processing the claims. And again, the third is probably most families don't think they need this benefit till it's too late, till they already run out of funds. And again, I think that's a tragedy because we can avoid it if we catch it early. If we find out that a family member needs to go into assisted living and they are a veteran or a widow of a veteran, they may be entitled to this benefit. Now, I'm going to share with you the military qualifications for veteran aid and attendance. And again, this is a live show. If you have any questions about this benefit, give us a call at 850-478-3116. That's 850-478-3116. The first qualification is no dishonorable discharge, which I'm lucky to say that very few families I run into this. Most served very honorably, so I won't spend much time on that one. The next one is how long do you actually have to serve in the military to be eligible for veteran aid and attendance? Now, when I ask families, how long do you have to work in the corporate America to get a pension these days? Or just for the government these days? Some families say, well, 5 years, 10 years, till I'm age 65. I'm leaning more towards never. It seems like most families don't get a pension these days. So when I share with them about these veterans benefits, they immediately disqualify themselves. They say, Andrew, I don't qualify for this benefit because I only served 2 years in the military. I don't qualify. I didn't serve, 20 plus years. So it really surprises them when the second qualification is military service, and they only have to serve 90 days active service with at least 1 day during a wartime period. That's right, 90 days active service with at least 1 day during a wartime period. Not 5 years, not 20 years in the military, 90 days active service. And we're going to go over those wartime dates in just a second. Now, the third one is you have to be either disabled or over age 65, which when it comes to assisted living or nursing homes or families that need a nurse to come in or have a family member sit with them at home, they're probably over age 65. So typically about 98% of the families we help are over age 65. And the fourth one is you have to have a medical need or help with your ADLs, your activities of daily living. And basically that means if someone's helping prepare your meals, do some laundry, household activities, if you have a child that's transporting you to your doctor's appointments, those are your activities of daily living. And then there's the fifth one is a financial test that most would qualify. But those are the military qualifications. And again, if you have any questions about that, give us a call, 850-478-3116. And we also have a couple workshops coming up around the community at some local assisted livings where we're going to dive even deeper into these VA benefits. And if you think you may qualify for VA benefits, give our office a call, our nonprofit, and it's 850-380-5137. That's 850-380-5137. Now, I'm going to jump right into some stats about veterans benefits that are really startling. And these stats actually come from a VA study on VA benefits. So you're hearing it from the horse's mouth. The first one is that nearly 2 million veterans or their widows are likely missing out as much as $22 billion a year in pensions. That's $22 billion with a B. And my point I want to get across here is if only a few percentage of families are actually receiving these benefits, there's a lot of families that are not getting it. And if I ask you, do you think the government are good money managers? Probably not. So if the $22 billion doesn't get in the hands of veterans, what's going to happen is it's going to get in the hands of someone else that doesn't deserve it as much as these veterans. So my goal and my passion at the Veteran Benefit Project is to make sure that $22 billion gets to the people that it was entitled to. And that's my passion. Again, I share with you that don't keep this benefit a secret. As we go into more depth about it, share this with your family members. We do have a caller on here. We have Marilyn. Marilyn, how are you doing?
Yes, good afternoon. I'm doing fine. Listen, my husband served in the military. He served during the Korean War.
Okay.
And he never seen war action, but I'd like to know if he's maybe eligible.
Sure. That you bring up a really good point. A lot of families say, my husband served during World War II, or he served during World War II or Korea, but he never actually went overseas. He never saw conflict. Does he still qualify? The answer is yes. He didn't have to carry a machine gun to qualify. So if your husband served during that wartime period, and we're going to go over those wartime service states, then absolutely, Marilyn, he does qualify.
Well, thank you so much. It would certainly help us financially. We live on Social Security, and every little bit helps this day.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for your call.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Again, if you're out there and you have a similar question, if you have a question about veteran aid and attendance, and you want to see if you qualify or have some questions that you want to ask, give us a call at 850-478-3116. That's 850-478-3116. Back to all those the stats on this benefit. The VA says they only have limited success in finding them and that widows are hit the hardest. And I can really attest to that from experience. Many families come to us saying, Andrew, my husband passed away 3 or 4 years ago, and I don't think I get any benefits, and I never thought I was eligible for any benefits. And when they find out that they're eligible for these benefits, it really does change their lives, because an assisted living can cost anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000. And when I share with you how much the widow gets monthly, it can really help them pay for those expenses and retire with dignity, which is our goal. Also, the VA says only 1 in 7 widows who could qualify actually receive their monthly checks. So there's 6 out of 7 widows out there that are not receiving the benefit that are qualified. Again, I think that's a tragedy, and that's my goal, is to help get the word out. And the VA says, veterans generally are completely unaware that this program exists. So if they know you've never heard about veteran aid and attendance, you probably didn't hear about this benefit on Monday night on CNN or Friday night at Fox. Again, it's not really widespread and it's not very well advertised. And this is my favorite. It says, a VA pension official says there are so many of these people, we don't know who they are, where they are, or how to get in contact with them. That makes me really scratch my head because, what happens on April 15th? Don't they know who you are? And if they don't know where you are, they know where your checking account is. So I have a problem when they say they don't know where these veterans are. Okay. So if you're a wartime veteran or a widow of a wartime veteran and are over age 65, you probably either qualify or will in the future. So if you think you qualify, we're going to share with you the steps on how to qualify. But before we do that, I want to share with you some wartime service dates. World War II is a huge date for a lot of families out there. A lot of families served honorably during World War II. If you served from December 7th, 1941 to December 31st, 1946, then you qualify. Now, many of you might be history buffs out there and say, well, Andrew, I got it. The World War II ended in 1945, but you said 1946. That's not a typo. What they did is they extended the dates for all the wars before and after to encapsulate all the soldiers that got in either late or got in early. And also, we have the World War II, Korean War, and Vietnam and Gulf War dates of wartime service dates. Again, don't disqualify yourself so quickly because you may have got in at the late time in the war and you still may qualify. And if you think you may qualify, give our nonprofit a call at 850-380-5137. That's 850-380-5137. Okay, so now we're going to dive into the actual numbers about veteran aid and attendance. What would I receive if I moved to an assisted living and I was a widow of a veteran, or I am a veteran? What would I receive from veteran aid and attendance from the VA? Well, the first benefit is the veteran single benefit, and that's $20,794, or $1,733. That's $1,733 a month to pay for assisted living or home health care costs. And that's money that's sent to you. That's not money that's sent to an assisted living. That goes to your checking account if you qualify. So again, if an assisted living is $3,000, you can be eligible for up to $1,733 as a veteran to help pay for that cost. And a lot of times that's half the cost. The next benefit is the widow's benefit, and that's $13,361, or $1,113. Again, if an assisted living cost or a nursing home costs you $3,000, that's 1/3 the cost a lot of times. So remember those 6 out of 7 widows that are missing out on these benefits? They can become eligible. So if you're just joining in, we're talking about veteran aid and attendance and about how my nonprofit organization helps families get up to $2,053 from the VA. And we're going through the 4 marital statuses of this veteran aid and attendance benefit. Now, the veteran and spouse benefit, the third marital status benefit, is $24,561, or $2,053. So if your mom and your dad, who are who's a veteran and she's his spouse, move into an assisted living and it costs $4,000, they could get half the cost paid for by veteran aid and attendance. And the last one's the veteran with dependent. That's basically if a veteran's doing fine, he's very healthy, but his wife needs some care. They may be eligible for up to $1,328 a month. Again, that can help substantially offset the cost of assisted living. Now, many families out there say, well, Andrew, that benefit sounds great, but if I got that benefit, it's going to push me into a higher tax bracket. What makes me smile about this benefit is it's tax-free. So these are all tax-free dollars that you don't have to worry about Uncle Sam stealing at the end of the year. Okay. Now, how do you get started? If you think you may qualify for veteran aid and attendance, it's really as easy as 1, 2, 3. The first step is scheduling an intake, which is a 15 to 30-minute meeting where we sit down and we see if you're eligible. We're going to go through those eligibility requirements with you. Then we're going to look at your personal situation to make sure that if you're a wartime veteran, that you meet those eligibility requirements. And if you do, we'll give you the paperwork to collect and then help you through the application process so you can receive these benefits. So would the VA pension help ease some of your financial problems? It's really funny. After families start receiving this benefit, it really clicks in on how powerful these benefits are. It's basically like having $500,000 dropped into your checking account. And if that checking account was earning 4%, that'd be $20,500 a year. The VA, the veteran single benefit is $20,000. It's $20,794 a year. So it's basically like having $500,000 in a checking account earning 4%. That's how substantial these benefits are if you're a wartime veteran out there. So I have one warning with you, and that is I want to share with you, kind of beware, is do not apply without trained assistance. I can't tell you how many families come to me, 15 months after applying saying, Andrew, we got denied because we made this one mistake. And it took them 15 months for the VA to just give them a no answer. And I don't want that to be your story. Our average time is about 3 or 4 months for processing claims. The VA's time is about 12 months. And it's not because we're miracle workers. It's just because we have it down to such a system and process to helping these families get these VA benefits. And very quickly, I'm going to share with you a couple example families on how this benefit could really affect their lives. And the first one I want to talk about is, we're going to give you an example. It's John and Marilyn Monroe. That's our couple today. The Duke, he's a veteran in this case, and he's got about $3,300 a month in income. And they are paying for an assisted living, and it's costing them about $4,200 a month. Luckily, they're going $750 negative every month, but luckily they have some assets, about $40,000. Without running any, long numbers or calculations, I can figure that they have about 40 months of income in that assisted living before they run out of income. If they can get this VA benefit of $2,053. That takes them from being negative $750 to being positive $1,300. Again, that's night and day for families. Instead of families worrying about running out of money in assisted living, they don't have to live that way. If you're a wartime veteran out there and you could be eligible for veteran aid and attendance, these benefits could really help you sleep well at night. Now, time is of the essence. What I share with families is if you wait 90 to 120 days, that's like losing out on $8,000 that you could be eligible for. Now, this benefit is retroactive, but it's retroactive on the date of the application. So basically, if you're out there and every day you wait, that's like losing about $50 to $70 a day. So again, give us a call at 850-380-5137. That's 850-380-5137 to schedule your intake today and see if you qualify for veteran aid and attendance. We're going to take a real quick break, and I'll see you on the back.
What your money would say. Today's financial landscape can be rough. One of the most important aspects of planning is choosing the right guide to help you navigate the road to retirement. Andrew McNair and the team at SWAN-Capital is dedicated to providing the very best service in the retirement planning industry today. SWAN-Capital is a full-service independent wealth management firm dedicated to providing guaranteed custom income plans that you cannot outlive. Contact Andrew McNair at SWAN-Capital 850-380-9558. That's 850-380-9558. The difference between SWAN-Capital and you retire once. We help people retire every day. You should be enjoying your retirement years, not letting worry keep you up at night. SWAN-Capital. Sleep well at night. Contact Andrew McNair at SWAN-Capital 850-380-9558. That's 850-380-9558. Again, that's 850-380-9558.
The Veteran Benefit Project, founded by Andrew McNair, president of SWAN-Capital, is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping veterans and widows of veterans with long-term care expenses by qualifying for the VA's aid and attendance benefit. Learn how to receive over $24,000 per year from the VA towards long-term health care. There is absolutely no fee associated with our assistance to the veteran, the widow of a veteran, their families, or any retirement community. Our goal is to preserve the dignity of the veteran and to reduce the dependency on the Medicaid system. Again, learn how to receive over $24,000 per year from the VA. Contact the Veteran Benefit Project 850-380-5137. That's 850-380-5137. 850-380-5137. Look us up on the web, veteranbenefitproject.com. At the Veteran Benefit Project, we are committed to helping you secure the benefits you deserve.
Retirement expert Andrew McNair. Changing the retirement paradigm. Now back to what your money would say. Brought to you by SWAN-Capital.
Welcome back. This weekend, we're talking about veteran aid and attendance and how the Veteran Benefit Project, my nonprofit organization, helps families get this VA aid and attendance benefit. And we're talking about it in detail to make sure that we remove the mysteries about this benefit. And we're going to talk, and I'm going to recap about these qualifications. If you're out there and you missed, how do I qualify for veteran aid and attendance? Tune in. The first qualification is no dishonorable discharge, which I'm lucky to say that very few families have this problem. Most are very honorably discharged and served honorably. The second is you have to serve at least 90 days active service with at least 1 day during a wartime. And what I joke with people is we've been at war since about 1812, and it's not hard to find a day in a wartime. The third is you have to be either disabled or over age 65. And veteran aid and attendance was specifically designed for families that are over age 65 that are in an assisted living or need some nursing home care or are at home and need home health care to help them out. And this benefit, again, is a very substantial benefit to help offset those costs. And we'll go over those numbers one more time with you. The fourth is you have to have a medical need or help with your ADLs, your activities of daily living. And that would maybe if you have a child that's transporting you to doctor's appointments, if you have an assisted living that's preparing your meals, that is doing those household activities of doing laundry and other things like that, or medication management, financial management. The fifth is a financial test that, again, most families qualify. Those are the qualifications for veteran aid and attendance. Now, what would you actually receive if you're eligible? We're going to go over those numbers one more time for you. There's 4 different marital statuses. I'm going to go briefly over each one. The first one is a veteran single. If you're a veteran that was either never married or is a widow themselves, they could be eligible for up to $1,733 a month paid to them directly to help pay for assisted living or nursing home costs. There's a widow's benefit of $1,113. And earlier in the show, we were talking about that there's 6 out of 7 widows that are eligible for this benefit are missing out because they don't know about it or think that they don't qualify. So don't be one of those widows out there that are missing out on $1,113. You deserve this benefit as much as your spouse did because you made a sacrifice as well. Then there's the veteran and spouse benefit of $2,053. That if a veteran and a spouse move into an assisted living, you can be eligible for up to $2,053 a month. Now, the last marital status is a veteran with dependent. And that's basically if a veteran's doing fine, he's very healthy, but his wife does need some care, or vice versa. She's the veteran and he needs some care. They can be eligible for up to $1,328 a month. And all those benefits that I just listed are tax-free. Now, there's some common questions that I get, Andrew. It's, now, if my husband served, and I think it was Marilyn that called earlier in the show, she said, Andrew, what happens if my husband never served overseas, never carried a machine gun? That doesn't matter for this benefit. Your husband could have served in World War II, but served domestically. He was in the United States the whole time, never saw any combat. That's fine. He's eligible for these VA benefits. And again, if you have some questions that you want to ask me about veteran aid and attendance, give us a call at 850-478-3116. That's 850-478-3116. And we'll answer those questions live on the air. The other question I get is Andrew, I wasn't married to my late husband while he was in service. I married him 5 to 10 years after his military service. Well, as a widow of him, you are still qualified. So again, don't disqualify yourself. The second question I get is Andrew, I have too many assets or my income's too high. Again, many families disqualify themselves too quickly. I've seen the whole spectrum. You know, some families have $5,000 in a checking account, and then I've seen other families that have $3.8 million. And we've been able to help a lot of these families just by playing a better chess game to help them become eligible for these benefits. The third is I already have a VA disability check. Andrew, I get 20% for my hearing loss and because I have a knee problem. Again, this benefit you would not lose your VA disability check. This benefit goes on top of that amount. So if you're 20% disabled, you can get the other 80% through this benefit. So if you're out there and you're saying, well, Andrew, I'd love to learn more about veteran aid and attendance because it's hard to cover over a 30-minute radio show, come check us out at one of our workshops. Go to SWAN-Capital.com. We hold these workshops on veteran aid and attendance, 3 to 4 of them a month. So don't make sure you don't miss one. Or if you just like to schedule an intake, that 15 to 30-minute meeting where you see if you're eligible for veteran aid and attendance, call us, 850-380-5137. That's 850-380-5137. We'll see you next week on What Your Money Would Say.
News,